Today we will learn about a ruthless serial killer, Matador Pedro, the amazing Brazilian serial killer who committed his first murder at the age of 14. His name is Pedro Rodriguez Filho, known as Matador Pedrino. He was born in 1954 in southern Brazil. His father was always quarreling and violent with his mother. He even kicked her several times during pregnancy, which led to a dent in Pedro's skull from before birth. Pedro began his killing spree at the age of only 14, when he shot his father's manager in the city square in front of everyone with his grandfather's gun, after his father was fired on false accusations of theft. And when the real thief was identified, Pedro shot him as well, killing him. Pedro then fled to São Paulo and became involved in gang business and drug trafficking. There he met his famous companion, Butina, and they lived together, and soon she became pregnant with Pedro's first child. Butina did not survive the attack by a hostile gang on Pedro, and she received several bullets that claimed her life and the life of the unborn baby. And here Pedro's dramatic transformation occurred, just like in American gangster films. Pedro broke away from his old gang and established his own gang of former soldiers and some petty criminals, looking for revenge. Pedro's first goal was to reach the killers of Butina and his unborn child, and Pedro's terrible revenge began as he killed and tortured many in order to reach the killers of his companion. He even stormed the wedding of a member of the gang that killed Butina, and caused massive chaos that resulted in the killing of 7 and the wounding of 16 individuals. Do you know how old Pedro was at the time? Only 18 years old. That is, all this happened while he was considered a child or teenager in many countries. Pedro was arrested and put in prison, after the number of people killed reached 23 people with criminal records. Brazilian prisons are among the worst and most violent in the world and are entirely run by gangs. In prison, Pedro met his father, who had previously been imprisoned after he killed Pedro's mother during a quarrel between them, as was their custom. Pedro took the worst revenge on his father, stabbing him 22 times, and not only that, but he extracted his heart, chewed it, and then spat it out inside the prison. And I do not know where the guards were in all of this. Pedro freely confessed to his crimes. While he was being transferred to another prison, Pedro was handcuffed to another prisoner, and they were placed in a vehicle designated for transporting them. When they arrived, the guards were surprised by Pedro's colleague, murdered. Pedro did not deny that he killed him, saying that he was a rapist and should be killed. When he was sent to prison, Pedro tattooed his arm with the words, "I kill for fun," to terrorize others. Pedro's total sentence was 126 years, which increased to 400 years in prison due to the killings he committed inside his prison cell, where he killed approximately 47 people, one of whom was his cellmate, whom he accused of spying on him during a private visit. He killed dozens, and yet he is free and enjoys his life and is proud of his crimes. But Pedro was released after 30 years because Brazilian law prohibits anyone from spending more than 30 years in prison. I do not understand this law, how the total sentences are 400, but he will be released after 30 years. Pedro did not care about the investigations and was openly proud of his crimes. I do not know why the authorities did not take any measures regarding Pedro's violence by placing him in a single cell. Perhaps the prison administration wanted to get rid of many criminals, and Pedro was the solution. The reasons for the killing were not revealed other than that it was a prisoner quarrel. Pedro came out in 2007 and met a former criminal. They exchanged letters during their imprisonment and moved to the city of Serra, where he worked as a property guard. Pedro was arrested again in 2011 for more thefts without murder. He was imprisoned again for 8 years and was released in 2018. He is now free, living his life with his girlfriend. He erased the "kill for fun" tattoo and replaced it with another one. Since 1973, and for nearly 30 years, Pedro has killed 47 dangerous prisoners, either by stabbing or by cutting with a sharp blade. In his confessions, Filho admitted that he identified his victims according to the horror of the crime they committed, and that he felt joy and excitement when killing hardened criminals, because he felt that he was achieving a goal that was good for him, which was to rid the world of evil. After all this, there is freedom. Because the Brazilian law, even if it ruled for 200 years, the maximum period for a person to be awake is 30 years, is a contradictory law. This law at least should impose a life sentence. A country that is lenient with criminals. It is a country in which there is no security and is not suitable for living. I will see you in a new issue. Thank you for watching.